Hey everyone, going to continue with 4.2. This is page 5 of the chapter 4 notes. Still doing binomial distributions, a type of probability distribution. And all of these range questions, at least, less than, more than, all of these tackle with StatCrunch. Don't do it any other way. So what's important then if you're doing StatCrunch is to get the inequality right. So let's go through each one of these and get the inequality right, and then we are good to go. At least 3. So that at least 3 is 3 or more. 3 is the smallest possible. So 3 or more would be greater than or equal to 3. So this would be x greater than or equal to 3. Okay, that's at least 3. Less than 3, x would be strictly less than 3, right? Not even including 3. But either 2, 1, or 0. More than 3, that's x greater than 3. How about at most 3? At most 3 is the most, so 3 or less. So that's the same would be less than or equal to 3. There's English for you. At most 3 is the same as less than or equal to 3. What's the probability of answering 3 or more? 3 or more is the same as at least 3, just a different way of saying it. Right? So that's 3 or more, bigger than 3 or equal to 3. Between 2 and 4 inclusive, we got to write that like this. X is between 2 and 4. And then what's the probability of getting less than 3 incorrectly? Ooh, that's tricky. Incorrect, less than 3 incorrectly. What would that be correct? So if you get less than 3 wrong, that will be 0, 1, or 2 incorrect, which means you have at least 3 correct, right? Like if you get 0 incorrect, you got 5 correct. If you get 1 incorrect, you got 4 correct. If you got 2 incorrect, you have 3 correct. So I would interpret this as at least 3 correct. X greater than or equal to 3. Another way to handle this one is change your p-value to 0.75 and then just do x less than 3. Well, compare those and see that, make sure we get the same thing. Okay, let's jump to StatCrunch now and try these out. But getting the inequality, honestly, is the hardest part. Now I just need to type it in. Let's see, where's my StatCrunch? There it is. Okay, so I have back to N5, P 0.25, and now I'm going to go through, there is the at least 3, right? We did that one in the last video, 0.104. Okay, so that's how that one looks. For part H, x less than 3, I would just change this inequality to less than 3, and that's 0.896. More than 3, just flip that around, 0.016. At most 3 was less than or equal to 3, 0.984. 3 or more, that was the same as at least 3, so that's still the 0.104. And then between 2 and 4 inclusive, that's where you can click this option right here where it says between, and then you can type in the 2 values, 2 on the left and 4 on the right. That's 0.366. Okay, and then that last tricky one, less than 3 incorrectly. So going back to standard, we decided that was this one, right? Same as at least 3 correctly. That's 0.104. Again, okay. Or less than 3 incorrectly. So the probability of incorrect is 0.75. And then I would just change this to less than 3. Notice there I get the same thing of that 0.104. I'm so confident now that it's 0.104. I'd bet on it. Okay. So we've practiced all of those with StatCrunch. If I go back to my handout, talks about an interesting problem. Now, can you catch people lying and cheating using probability? Let's try it. So while grading the quizzes, the instructor noticed that 2 students who sit next to each other had matching answers to all 5 questions. None of the answers were correct. Ooh, that's a little red flag, right? They both had the exact same wrong answers. What's the probability that the 2 students cheated? Okay, so what I would do on this problem is I would assume that student A had the, what we would call the right in quote answers. What's the probability that student B matches or guesses all of those correct, right? By random guessing. We did that. That would be the question right here. What's the probability of getting all 5 right? It's 0.001, right? So the probability that these 2 students match by randomness, because they got them all wrong, is 0.001. So the probability that they cheated would be the opposite of that. I would say this is a 99.9% chance of foul play. Okay. All right. If one more thing in this section, and then maybe we'll just try one more example for practice. You can find the mean, variance, and standard deviation of a binomial distribution with some pretty simple formulas. So if you get to a problem where you have to find those, just use these formulas. Don't use StatCrunch or anything fancy. So in the problem above, remember we had, let's just draw it down again, n was 5, p is 0.25, and q is 0.75. All right, you don't need an x on these. Find the mean. So the mean is just n times p. So 5 times 0.25, 1.25. How about the variance? So now you just multiply that by q. So for the variance, sigma squared, 5 times 0.25 times 0.75. All right, that's 0.75. We're getting 0.9375. And then for sigma, we know if we know variance and we're trying to find standard deviation, you just take the square root of the variance. So square root of 0.9375. Square root of my calculator, 0.9375. And let's go 3 decimal places here. I'm seeing 0.968. All right, I think we're doing pretty good here. This is it. This is the last little question. So if you want to try this one out on your own now, see if you got this. Go for it, hit pause, and then start. Otherwise, I'm just going to run through these, and I'll use StatCrunch. So, okay, here we go. So we have, what I would do is jot down the P, which is that first thing, 0.37, right? You randomly select 8 Americans, that's the N, right? What's the probability of that? Okay, we'll need a Q. Q is 1 minus P. What's that, 0.63? And then X always comes from the question. So on this one, X equals 8, all 8. Exactly 5, X equals 5, right? At most 2, that's 2 or less. X less than or equal to 2, between 2 and 5. Right, that's the kind of the easy one to write out, just between 2 and 5. Okay, so you can try those with the formula or jump to StatCrunch, either way. Let's do StatCrunch. And here we go. Okay, so I got to change my N to 8 and my P to 0.37. And if you do StatCrunch, you don't even need the Q. Okay, and then we're doing x equals 8. There it is. And then it says round all these to 4 decimals. Round each answer. Oops, there's a typo. 2 TO. 2 4 decimal places. Okay, so 0.0004 for that first one. Exactly 5. I would just change that 8 to a 5. 0.971. At most 2. Less than or equal to 2. 3.811. And then between 2 and 5. So I'll click the between and go 2 to 5. 8.249. Okay, and that's it. So I can jump back and I'll show you what I came up with there. But again, if you want to practice with that formula and try it that way, go for it. You would get the same answers, so it's a good verification. Otherwise, I think that's it, right? That's page 6. Yeah, we don't have a page 7. So there we go. That's the end of 4.2. Hope all is well. Give it a go. If you have questions, of course, please just send them my way. Okay? I'll talk to you later.